probably all.
I've got enough money in the bank to pay my tickets for this.
That's good. Good to know that.
TMI.
Bet you don't. Bet we could write enough tickets you could pay.
That might be a new challenge.
We have.
Yeah.
I got this pen out of the archives here. Like you're hanging on it. I remember buying these. Well, it's almost like church this morning in here. Quiet. What's going on? It's not like this all the time, John.
9 o'clock.
The air is so heavy outside this morning.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. It is Tuesday, August 20th. It's 9 a.m. It's time for the weekly Cudahy County Board of Commissions weekly report, weekly meeting and report, I guess. We'll open the meeting with a Pledge of Allegiance, and
I led last time.
Jeff is a new guy on in the meeting. You want to lead us in the pledge this morning? Thank you, Jeff. You're officially part of the crew now.
I was supposed to be coming up.
Oh.
I don't know where it's at.
That being said, a couple of housekeeping chores. If you have a cell phone, which you probably do, please silence it or turn it off. And if you do get a call that you need to take, please step out into the rotunda so you don't disrupt the meeting. Is this microphone really loud? Seems like it's echoing.
No.
It's not? All right. Also, this meeting is being streamed live, so if you address the board, more than likely you will be on the stream. Is there anyone in the audience that has something to bring to the board in of any issue that is not on the agenda? We can't do any, can't act on it because it's not on the agenda, but we certainly would listen to any concerns that you might have. That being said, is there any conflicts of interest with the board members of any of the items on the agenda? That being said, I see none, so I'll entertain a
Make a
motion to
motion
accept the
To
agenda.
approve the agenda.
Second.
We have a motion by Hatton, a second by Van Duzen. Any discussion? Any discussion? Seeing none? All in
Aye.
favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. How about the minutes
Move
from
to
the
approve
13th?
as emailed.
We have a motion by
I'll
Hatton,
second.
second by, who was it, Gable? Any discussion? Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, motion carries. Monthly reports, we had two fellows here to report, and they both boogied out, so Rick, come on up, let's keep going here, get the highway department out of the way. Good morning, Rick.
Good morning, Rick.
We jumped over you, gentlemen, you.
Okay, first off, we completed our chip seal project yesterday. We did 27 miles, 23 which belonged to the county. We started at the South Shore, we did the town of South Shore, the main street through Wallace, and then we did 2 miles of township roads for Pelican, and then we had a little bit left, so we finished it off at the town.
Do you bill them for that then? Do you invoice them?
Pelican
Yeah,
Township.
Townships, yes. Yeah.
You want to turn your mic on there for me? There you go.
Yeah, they get billed. The one on the south side, the state takes care of, that goes to the park.
Okay.
And then the other one on the north side of the lake, Pelican Township takes care of that. Same way with the town of,
The towns?
yep. except for Wallace, because the main street through Wallace is a county road.
County road, right?
Yes. We've had a lot of rain. On August 2nd, we had 5 inches of rain up in the South Shore Waverly area. We had roads that had water go over the road. We had closed, basically just took the gravel off, some of which we had already done from this spring's flooding, so we had to redo those. And then the following week, we had 3 to 4 inches over in Henry, so that raised the water levels and all the ponds over there. And we discovered we have 3 more spots that we're probably going to have to do something with, because the water's either out on the road a little ways, or it's right there next to the gravel.
I've had some inquiries from the residents around or on the west side of Goose Lake, over in that area. Is the water really inundating some of the roads over there now pretty badly, or?
Yeah, the township roads mainly right now,
Yeah.
because it's flowing towards Wolf Slough,
Yep.
and it's,
Is that Wolf Slough a closed basin?
I think it's got to get high enough to run out of there too. I'm not
That's
sure
what I was thinking.
where it goes,
Yeah.
because that's right down on the county line, and part of it's in Cottington, part of it's in Hamlin County, so,
Okay.
but it's gonna
Well,
get
Hamlin
deeper.
County's full. That's what they told me the other day. Said, can't send us any more, we're full.
Yeah, I think we're full too,
Yeah,
so.
I think so too.
We've got our truck repaired, that the fan went into the radiator, that's back on service. We took 2 approaches out on 14th Avenue, just north of the shop. We've got a water issue there, and they're up there today trying to get one cleaned out far enough to get things going. We had 2 buckets that came, they both didn't work, so,
Is that right?
yeah, we're making do with what we have.
The third one should be the charm.
I'm hoping,
Where are those approaches at?
right on 14th Avenue, straight north of the shop.
Okay.
One is John Engel's property, and the other one belongs to
Oh, okay.
Eric Sheehan.
Okay.
About
And-
a quarter mile in from that highway line.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know where it's
They were nice enough to let us, we took them out last week, and they were nice enough to let us leave them open so the water could drain, and
Great.
this week we're gonna try and get everything we can cleaned out of the ditch up there, so hopefully the water will flow, because it was flowing across 14th Avenue to the south side over the weekend.
It looks
after the
like there's
rain.
a high spot going east yet, though.
Yeah, we're going to address that. There's some power lines and some phone
I'm sure.
lines and
Yeah.
all
Because
kinds
that
of good
water
stuff.
was just really sitting there.
Yeah,
It wasn't
'cause
moving at all.
It's
just filling
backed
up.
up from the armory,
Yep.
and then it flows down State Highway 20, and then it comes to the east, then it crosses under 14th Avenue, and then it goes back to the east again.
Okay.
But the residents on the north side, well, even Mr. Ingles on the south side, he has water issues with a septic tank, and the people on the north side are continually pumping water, and it's kind of a mess there.
Would you have to, can you increase the size of the culverts? I mean, or would that
Not
help?
really. It's
Just not the space to,
not the space, and it's a bad deal. Like on the north side, since they built the retention center or retention pond for the
Yeah,
armory, that holds all that water there. And it just pushes it into those people's yard and then down Highway 20.
yeah,
So,
no, I get it.
and then with the utilities there, it never gets completely put back to where it belongs. So everything's a little fuller, the bottom of the ditch is a little fuller, and
Yeah,
erosion, all that good
The
stuff.
real issue is there's about 10 acres of concrete at the Readiness Center out there. And I don't know who the engineer was that engineered it, but they didn't plan on all this rain, that's for sure. And they should have had the water run right to the river out behind those residents, right down, there's a right-of-way going right behind their houses out there. And they should have put a drain drainage ditch or a pipe right to the river from out there. That should have happened.
Yeah, that would have helped matters. Next era with the wind towers are proposed to start next week. Working on those. They're still working on the transmission line. And today, one of the transformers is going to be hauled in. It's a monster load south of South Shore in the Waverly area. There'll be two of those. One's a little smaller, but one's big, really big. But one's gonna get delivered today.
Do you know what time they're doing that today?
Nope, he never gave me a time.
Sometime
He was gonna let me know when they were, but we'll wait to find out. If I do, I'll get a hold of you.
Okay, yeah. I'd like
Where
to
will
know.
those be placed at then, do you know?
It's east and a little bit north of Waverly.
Okay, that one where I think we did that at planning and zoning.
Probably.
Okay. That's what I was
Yep,
wondering if
because
it
they're gonna
really was.
Yeah, we had to give them a conditional
Yeah.
use permit to put it in there.
Yeah, because they were gonna unload off the rail car in South Shore or Stockholm, and then that got changed to Summit. And now they're gonna come down our county road 9-1 with the smaller one, and then the heavier one, they're going over to 7-1 down to State Highway 20. And then they'll go across on 20 and then come down our county road 3 and go straight south. But like I said, I don't have a time, so. And that's pretty much it, so.
All right, any questions for Rick? What
Rick,
we
did
got in here?
you, I forwarded that email to you from Chris Jacobson about the Volkswagen. Did you notice that? Was that anything that we'd be able to? Okay.
I got on there and looked, and the only thing I could find was a small SUV type
Okay,
vehicle.
all right. I wasn't sure when they said truck program, so I thought, well, we need some, so maybe.
Yep.
Okay.
Rick, just one more quick question before you go. I guess, here a while back, Sioux Conifer Road was closed again because we had water over the road a couple
Yes.
weeks ago. What's the status of that? Is there any problems with that road or
No,
the bridges or?
no, not as far as, I went out and looked at the culverts before I opened it back up, and I didn't see any holes or anything, but some of those could take time, after the water goes down is generally when the hole drops out of the road, but
Yeah.
we just keep an eye on it.
Where was that at?
Sioux Conifer Road,
Oh,
just a couple
yes.
miles north.
Yeah.
Where the spillway
I was
is.
going to say where the spillway.
It's kind of the same situation where we received a lot of rain and,
Yep.
I'm guessing the spillway down my way was probably
Yep.
inundated again as well. I had over 2 inches.
Is that the one where the culvert is right close to the side of the road?
Yeah.
Kind of-
Yeah, there's like 5 or 6 sets of culverts through there, and then there's a spillway, and that's the third time the water's run over the road there this year, so. Yeah,
That's what it's there for.
yep,
That's why it's a spillway.
yeah, somebody tried to go in one of the culverts.
Yeah, I drove right in the deepest hole out there. It's just like they aimed for it, just put the car.
Yeah, it could be a bad deal.
Yep,
Yeah,
yep,
that happens.
Thanks, Rick.
yep,
All right,
thank you.
thank you, Rick.
Thanks, Rick.
All right, gentlemen, facility report. We have Milo and Jeff, both of them here. So you turn that mic on over there. Jeff, I'll tell you what, introduce yourself so the press and the other people will know who you are. And the people watching us on the stream will know who you are, so.
I'm Jeff Hirschman. I worked for the county for 17 years now, taking care of Milo while he's gone.
Thank you.
I hope.
Yeah.
So, good morning. I just took care of my part, and was going to introduce you folks to Jeff and you folks to Jeff. I'll kind of go through and make some notes here, and Jeff is in the learning process. This is his first commission meeting, so he's going to figure out what I'm doing and be ready to do it next time. I'll touch base just a little bit on Memorial Park. The park has been impacted by high water over the last month. We did have to relocate and/or refund a number of campers off of some of the sites. mainly the pull-through sites along the lake, and then some sites number 39 and 40. Currently, the lake has receded slightly, but it is still coming into the park in front of the pavilion building and on sites 39 and 40. We did some work on those and built them up so everything is usable again. However, some of them are a little more lakefront than they used to be.
So we can charge more?
I suppose we could try that.
I wouldn't want to.
One of our problems, in addition to the lake actually coming in, every time it rains, then we have a groundwater problem, which is nothing new to anybody out there. Everyone's kind of in the same boat, but there's nowhere for it to go, so even a quarter inch doesn't soak in and turns into a great big puddle. Guest traffic continues to be very heavy out there. This past weekend is probably the first weekend in about 6 weeks that we've actually had an opening in the park. Ag Building Achievement Days was recently held at the complex. I'm told that everything held up rather well. Our drainage system held up through the heavy rains out there, and we avoided flooding the livestock barn, although it was nip and tuck a couple of those rains. We are looking at adding some additional gutter protection to another section of the building to aid in the drainage of that area. Where we experience most of the problem is that area in between the exhibit halls and the livestock building. It's just kind of a zone where there's nowhere for the water to go. A couple acres of roof there that funnel all the water right down into it. So we just do the best we can with what we have there. The courthouse, we have received a bid from a contractor to install additional stair railings between ground floor and first floor. I asked Cindy to add that on the agenda about 20 minutes ago, but she wouldn't do it.
It's on for next Tuesday.
So I have a request in for next week to go over this bid. Just some information ahead of time. The brass rail will match as closely as possible the existing handrails that are currently in place. The handrails themselves are, I'm told, are almost an exact match. Where they start coming into differences is, the decorative base that would, go at the bottom, or, the mounting hardware might not be exactly the same, but that's to be expected 80 years later. Like I said, the plan is to run another section of handrail down the center of those steps, and this is coming at the recommendation of Safety Benefits. Just to kind of revisit that subject a little bit, we seem to have an increase in slip and fall incidents on those steps after the security wall was put up at the bottom. After observing traffic coming down the steps, it was noticed that many people would cross over from right to left, when they caught sight of that security wall down at the bottom. May or may not be the cause of the increase in those incidents happening, but we did what we could to address it, and that would be one possible solution. So you will have more information on that next week.
Right, kind of makes sense, so it would narrow up the, where they can go, so, and they'd have a rail close by on both sides.
Yeah, basically handrail on either side of a person.
Yep.
It's a wide staircase.
Help steady them if they,
Detention center, I'll turn that over to Jeff. He can kind of give you a little report of what happened over there in the last month. Jeff, good
Talk
luck.
right into the mic, will you, Jeff?
Right?
Talk into the mic.
In the microphone, okay. The company came in to put new dispensers up for paper towel and toilet paper. They were drilling a hole in the women's bathroom. They drilled through the sewer pipe. We had to tear the wall out
Sewage pipe.
to fix the sewer pipe, and it was a mess. But
I guess.
it's all fixed now. It looks better than it did before.
Good.
And evidently, the company's paying for it to drill the hole.
Good, yeah. Should be that.
That was just one of those unfortunate side effects
Whoops.
Yeah,
Right.
big movement.
of making improvements, I guess,
Yeah,
so.
then the sewer system was probably shut down for a time.
So they were installing a paper towel roll
Dispensers there.
dispenser?
Well, the company would buy the paper towels from them. I evidently hired them to put them up
Okay.
and drilled holes in the sewer.
They were just, Matt showed it to me. It was quite a,
Well, at least they're fixing it, so that's
Yeah.
good.
Plans continue over there for working in one of the dorm areas due to the increase in our guests over there. That's project's kind of been held up, but they're ready to go at a moment's notice when
We got all its
Brad gives them the go-ahead, so,
that's the work on the ceiling.
yeah.
Yeah, to make it,
correct.
to make it more secure, basically.
So, any questions for us while you have us front and center?
I don't really have a question. I did spend some time out at the Extension Center during the Achievement Days, and that Echo Center now being air conditioned is very, very comfortable. And I had a lot of people, say, man, this is nice. Now when are we going to get the next one done? But the one thing during the Achievement Days, it wasn't terribly hot those few days. We just lucked out there, so it wasn't too bad. But it was nice, actually, with the doors open from the echo chamber into that next exhibit hall 1 or whatever it is called. But it really made a difference. It was cool. It was all right. But people notice it and appreciate it. So just want to pass that on.
Okay, good.
And everything, like I said, I was out there, there's a lot of people out there, and I just have to give the crew out there a lot of credit. The bathrooms were clean, and they were equipped, and everything was in good shape, and people really do appreciate that. Anything else from Milo?
Just, I've been contacted by the folks from Reno Dry. I guess they had trouble getting a hold of you because you were out of the office, but they're willing to come by and talk to us some more if people have questions about that. It's a device to. So Myron and I got a chance to talk to them and Milo, us three. You guys got a chance to talk to them. And, it's a device that deals with the phenomenon of rising damp in old masonry buildings, and so just to let you know. So they're in Grant County today. So, but
I guess I have some questions. I was gone at a conference at that time, so I wouldn't mind meeting with them if they could come sometime
they
too.
might be able to come by. I told them they couldn't get on the agenda for this meeting. They're in Grant County anyway, but they're in the area today, so maybe this afternoon if people want to ask questions.
All right, anything else for Milo?
So I
Jeff.
guess so Jeff is going to be the new Milo, basically. He'll be like on site
Yep.
in like your office. He'll make sure the doors are locked at night and open in the morning or whatever.
That's correct.
Brian was here Saturday night, patching or scrubbing the floor when the power went out. Mm-hmm. He said all the ground floor doors unlocked.
That's, yeah.
when the
If we
power-
have something like that come up, it's just good to know who.
We get a UPS for that, or keep it powered.
Yeah, we'll
If
have
nobody been there, they're supposed to monitor.
They
we'll have to
unlock
check into
them.
that.
Yeah.
yeah, didn't we?
That way, so just so we know, if something comes up, then Jeff is the go-to person that we need to get a hold of.
Can I just mention
Yes.
one other facilities thing? So last week we approved the notice to bidders for the sprinkler system. So that's just so let everybody know that that's on the county website. If any interested bidders want to see what that looks like, it's on the welcome page. There's a link to it, and it'll also be. Is it in the paper yet, or will it? It will be. It will be in the paper as well.
Shortly. That's the bridge transportation project. It'll be published in the Public Opinion August 31st and September 7th, and the Gazette on August 29th and September 5th.
So if interested bidders should look at the online one because there's a pre-bid meeting before that publication date. So, but we're also able to answer questions if a bidder can't make it to the pre-bid meeting, we can still answer questions. And Jeff will do a wonderful job, I'm sure, answering all the questions about the building, so.
All right, anything else for Jeff or Milo? Jeff, well, welcome, and now you'll find out just what Milo has been putting up with the last few years here.
I've already found it.
Found that out
We
already.
appreciate you stepping up
Yeah.
and
Okay,
helping out.
Thank you.
Thank
All
you.
right,
Yeah. Thanks,
have a good
Milo.
day.
Thank you.
All right, let's go on then to number 7, action to authorize the chair to sign a sub-receipt grant agreement between Cottington County and the South Dakota Department of Corrections. In your packet is this 11-page, 12-page document, and I'm sure everybody's read that word for word. I did scan it this morning, and I did talk to Lee for just a moment. He said that, well, who wants to just kind of give us an
you want me
overview?
to-
I had one question about this, and I'll ask the question before you get started, is, you know, the one thing about a grant, and we've had these, you know, with the police department and so on and so forth, but if we hire or if we take on more staff, what happens when that grant expires? And now we're sitting with a person on board and no money to continue on with that service. That was my question as I went through this, and I there's probably the answers in here, I just didn't get it.
Well, we've had these COPS grants before, and once this time period is done, then yes, then we're responsible to pay for those salaries. And
Well, that's what I would need, that's,
But this is not our employee.
Would you like to
No.
give me, I can give a quick rundown
Yeah.
on this. So,
yeah, go ahead, Lee.
yeah, this is the grant. It's granted through the South Dakota Department of Corrections, but it's federal money. So we're the sub-grantee or sub-recipient, and that's the what the motion would be, is to authorize the chairman to sign as a representative of
This
the
is actually
sub-recipient.
the notice of award that we're signing.
Right, this is for that individual that's gonna work with the
Right.
JDAI, and it's
Exa-
just, we're just the pass-through basically on this
Yeah,
one.
so that's, yeah, exactly. So that's the JDAI is the Juvenile Detention Alternative Initiative. That person's being hired to work at the Boys and Girls Club. We agreed on a person to make the offer. I've been part of the team doing the interviews, and so I don't know if the person accepted, but we figured out who to offer the job to, and the Boys and Girls Club they're basically running with the ball for the most part on that. So if you want, in paragraph 3, it talks about what exactly this grant's supposed to do and what the diversion coordinator does. So the position is, most of the money is to hire this youth diversion coordinator that would work at the Boys and Girls Club and help the county, the community come up with alternatives to incarceration for juvenile offenders, and as well be part of collecting the data associated with all of that, and assisting in diversion programs, which are a little different than alternative incarceration alternatives, such as teen court and things like that. So that's basically the purpose of the money. And then what all this, basically all the pages are about is the conditions, audit requirements, requirements tied to the federal funding that need to be complied with. And so a lot of this is going to be on the Boys and Girls Club. And there's going to be some audit requirements. We're at the one thing that might make us feel a little bit better about the audit requirements, though, is we're below the $750,000 amount, because the amount of this grant is $64,000.
Well, it's a accumulation of all our grants.
Well, that's-
When they look at us for auditing purposes.
But
Even
that
if
would
we're
be a
just
state.
pass-through?
That would be
I
a
mean,
state.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
If we get over a certain dollar amount in any kind of grants, we will be audited
Yeah.
for those.
Yeah, there's going to be some paperwork, which
So
is, it's all accountability and stuff.
Myron, to get back to your question, as I understand it, this will be a Boys and Girls Club employee. So at the conclusion of this grant, if they choose to continue with the program, they become a Boys and
Yeah.
Girls Club employee. They pay the salary of the employee.
Yeah, so essentially what would happen, so obviously you let the employee know that this is a grant-funded position
Right.
when you hire them, and then the state has indicated that this could probably go on for 1 or 2 more years. So
This award goes
But we'd have to
through
reapply.
June 30th.
this particular one, yes. So we'd
Yeah.
have to reapply. You have to go through the process again every
Yes.
year to keep it going, as long as the money is available. If it's not available, then we in the Boys and Girls Club would have to make a decision. What do we want to do about it? And if it's effective, maybe it's a good good, it's a cost-effective thing to do. If not, I guess we have this opportunity to see how it works,
Right.
so.
The $64,000, $12, whatever it is, that's basically salary. That's
For the most part, there's other things in there, you know, like insurance and benefits, but for the most part, yes.
All right.
It's kind of
All right.
There's some
an
travel
effective
money.
way to, it's a trial period, and
Yeah.
they'll be collecting data, so we're going to have information off of that as well.
All right, you heard the summary, the synopsis of that grant. I entertain a motion.
I'll make them,
A
Go
motion
ahead.
I'll
by
make a
Van
motion.
Duzen, second by Gable. Any more discussion? Any more discussion? Any more? Seeing none, all in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Any change orders, Lee, for us to look at today? Any action on change orders submitted by the courthouse remodel project?
No, Mr. Chairman?
Nothing? Okay, 9, action to approve claims for payment. We have any claims today?
We do, we have several claims. These miss our original bill day in the month of August, or there are our direct deposit credit card charges. The first bill is, the payment is to Dean Palmer for $552, and it is for a load of firewood for Memorial Park. The second one is the Visa for the auditor's office, and it was the charge for my room stay at the NACO convention in the amount of $446.73. I have submitted all of my costs for that trip to the SDACO, and they are cutting me a check for $1,500 reimbursement that will go back into the budget.
Okay.
And the next one is also to Visa for $60, and that is for a registration for the Register of Deeds office, a PRIA membership. PRIA stands for Professional Recording something. Another one to Visa for $279.65, miscellaneous travel and supply costs for the sheriff's office. Another Visa payment for $418.02 for search and rescue and emergency management for various travel and supply costs in the month. And the final one in the amount of $22,916.69. That is for the June surcharge collections for the 911 program that goes to the city of Watertown.
Move to approve those.
Motion by Hatton,
Second.
second by Gable. Any questions? Any questions, any comments? Any questions? Seeing none, all in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, motion carries. Action to approve automatic budget supplements. We need any this month.
Nothing today.
That's good. How about 11, action to approve personnel changes? We have a couple of them in the packet. I think 3 of them.
First one is Ryan Elliott, a part-time corrections officer, step 1, $17.81 per hour. And Jessica Johnson, also a part-time corrections officer at step 3, $18.95 an hour. And these are added to our pool of part-time corrections officers, so they do not qualify for any benefits, but they are available when we need somebody to fill in and to cut down on overtime costs. And then the last one is Lori Deutsch, is the office manager at the highway department. She'll move to step 13, $21.68 per hour.
Move to approve.
Motion by Hatton,
Second.
second by Commissioner Waterman. Any discussion?
Cindy, I got a
Discussion?
question
Yeah.
real
Sure.
quick on, both of these part-time corrections officers are starting on the same day.
Yep,
One step 1, one step 3. What's
one
the
has prior
difference?
experience,
Okay, all right,
is to my understanding.
okay. I
Yep.
was just wondering what the
These
difference
are not employees, previous employees, correct? These are new.
These
Yes.
are new. Yep.
Okay. Well,
Any-
I just see that they have signed this. You know, before we said on the previous
They happened,
ones.
well, actually, he brought them in on the day this paperwork was filled out, so we got their signatures.
All right, any other questions? Any other questions, any other comments? Seeing none, all in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, motion carries. We got 3 travel requests.
The first one is for the Extension Deputy Office Coordinator to assist with moving judge exhibits to the State Fair. That's Kim Johnson. The second two are for our weed and pest supervisor, Steve Mollengraff, to work the State Fair weed booth and the 2019 State Weed Commission and tour.
Move to approve.
Motion by Van Duzen.
Second.
And second by Hatton. Any discussion? Any discussion? Any comments? Discussion? Seeing none, all in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Number 13 is public notice of the quarterly meeting of the Sioux Valley Commissioners Association, August,
Tomorrow.
21st, that's tomorrow at 12 p.m. in Clear Lake. South Dakota Association of County Commissioners Annual Conference is September 16th and 17th in Pierre. That's more of for your information is what that's all about. Number 14, old business. Any old business, any mature business that we need to discuss? Seeing none, let's go on to number 15,
I
any
think
new
we
business?
had something.
I can mention it now or during the open, just one thing, Mr. Chairman, as we get close to the budget, one thing I've been researching, we talked about it a little bit at the last CCJAC meeting was, so I guess the old business would be the budget idea and the need to look at the criminal justice process between the county and the courts. It's not looking at the jail, but looking at the process and seeing if there's any benefit. So to do that, though, we may need to think about paying a consultant to help us with that. So that might be a budget consideration. We've seen that, been looking at how some other counties have done that and seeing what benefits they've gained and get an idea of what that would be. So just to let folks know, I'm researching that topic, and I'll probably send something out before the next meeting so everybody can look at it, so to see what that kind of thing would be.
All
Is
right.
that on the same note as kind of what we applied for with that
Well,
grant?
I think that might save us some money, not because that would cover part of, at least the data gathering part, I'm not sure, and it depends on if they get the grant too. So, but I think one county in Minnesota that we looked at, Carleton County, they had a very good rundown. You could see all the things that caused delays in the process, where the bottlenecks were, and it involves everybody. It goes from the state level down to the county and the courts, and it can affect, a county's, how a county works through the caseload, how the court in a county works through the caseload, affects jail population, so those kinds of things.
Like with the mental health, if they don't
Yeah,
have
that's part of
room,
it.
then we're
Yeah.
held up here with those sorts of things.
So kind of, and I think it's important to be looking at, keeping our eyes on all these things, like, the thing that Commissioner Hanton did with the transitional housing, that's getting going. I just think we may get a lot of bang for the buck if we understand that. And there's the objectivity. We may be able to figure out, theoretically, we could figure out some of this stuff on our own, not commissioners, but people who understand, law enforcement and lawyers and court people. But on the other hand, having the objectivity of an outside person when said that's suggests changing this or that, that can be a very helpful thing.
Well, like I mentioned, after coming back from NACO, I sat in on a seminar, and it makes a lot of sense. You're focusing on what you kind of get wrapped up focusing on what you think might solve
Yeah.
the problem. In reality, it might be something totally different.
Or a bunch of things. It's chances are it's a bunch of things. And
It's actually another set of eyes.
yeah, and the other thing on the criminal justice front, I did register for the PSA, the public safety assessment, and been talking to the judges. I think we're kind of developing a consensus about what we want to do on that. And like I mentioned before, this would be a kind of a chance to work with, to take advantage of a grant that Minnehaha and Pennington counties have received, just to join them in this effort. And the idea with a risk assessment is that you put in the people that go to jail are the right people to go to jail, and the ones that in a more objective way. So it's a tool for judges primarily. So anyway, that one's in the works as well. I'll try to keep you updated as we work on that one.
You working with Pennington?
All right. Any other new business?
Okay.
Anything else? Any other new business? All right, let's go on then to the open. Anyone have anything for the open? Tomorrow, of course, we'll be at that
In Clear
Commissioners
Lake.
Conference in Clear Lake. There'll be a quorum there.
Just, I guess we talked about the Reno Dry, the vendor on the Reno Dry, that budget item that Milo brought up before, and so there's a possibility that contractor might want to meet with other commissioners, if so. But I don't have a time for that yet. So
Yeah, that's something that we need to discuss.
I think Lee and I met with them, what was that, 2 weeks ago, or?
probably about a little longer than that. But yeah, I mean, essentially,
It's been, well, yeah, when I was in NACO is when
Yeah,
you guys met with
yeah.
them, but I guess, yeah, I have a lot of questions, I don't know, do they have any other in South Dakota that they're actually have
I think they've done a few. I asked them a question. I'm trying to remember which ones, but they and Milo checked all the references. So it looks like, it's a. The idea is that it preserves the masonry work within a building by eliminating the moisture in that. And it's a device that does that.
But if there's moisture, is the moisture being caused by another source that can be fixed?
That's part of it. There's different sources of moisture. I didn't really know
A
about
lot of
this
it's
until.
probably just condensation that's built up in the concrete walls that's coming through.
Well, the stuff that they're talking about, they talk about a phenomenon called rising damp, and I was like, well, what's rising damp? So I contacted the State Historical Preservation Office, and they said, yeah, it's a real thing in historical buildings. So there's a real thing. It's dealing with a particular source of moisture, not everything. So if you have a drainage issue, you got to fix that.
Right.
But it's more of a long-term, preventative measure to preserve the integrity of the masonry. Is the idea behind it.
If you talk with them, I wouldn't mind having them come to a commission meeting and
That's
give
what
a
I was gonna say.
presentation
Yeah,
to.
I'd like
Probably talking to the Grant County Commission right now.
Yeah.
So.
Not
So the
today,
public
but
can
yeah,
hear
let's
that as
set it
well.
up and have them come
Okay.
in.
I think the thing that surprised me, it's kind of like they said they may have to have 2 units in our basement because it's quite large, but they just hang these units, and it's almost like a dehumidifier.
But
It's
it's
actually what it is.
Yeah, but
And-
it's aimed at just at the rising damp part of the humidity. Yeah.
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 And what's the cost for that?
It was, I want to say it was 14,000-ish. I have to look at
Yeah.
they gave us a very specific estimate. I mean,
Yeah.
considering that it's meant to last for decades, that's kind of so it depends on what do you think, rising damp appears to be a real thing.
I know.
So,
So is that a yearly cost of 14?
no,
or
it's just
initial,
one time
and
and
then-
one and done. And so.
Anything else? Any other?
I did lay a resolution on your desks that I'd like you to take action on next Tuesday. I've been approached to serve on the South Dakota Public Assurance Alliance Executive Board of Directors. And one of the requirements is a resolution of support from my governing board. So I just wanted you to be able to see it, look it over, and I'll have it on the agenda for action next Tuesday, as it does have to be in by the end of August.
And I commend Cindy for doing that, and I think that's a wonderful idea. We work with these people often, and she's actually the one that they work with. And so it'd be good to have her sitting on that board.
There's an opening, there's a county seat opening on the board this year, as one of the seat holders is retiring from county.
So, we will wish her well.
Well, and it's
I
not a
believe
done,
we
it's not a done
put-
deal.
We put a couple commissioners on, new ones too, I believe. This is the same board, but
Could be.
yeah,
Yep.
the executive board appointed.
All right, anything else? Anything else? I do not have any requests for an executive session. I have none, so
I'll make a motion to
we
adjourn.
have a motion by Hatton to adjourn, a second by Commissioner Gable. All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
We are dismissed. Thank you.
Do you want a copy of this agreement?
Yeah, actually, I should ask for that. Yeah. Thank you.